This presentation is part of my ongoing postgraduate research project that focuses on the impact bodily experiences have in the construction of space and vice versa. The human body, the senses, and the process of memory play a vital role in the interpretation of spatial organization in late Bronze Age, early Iron Age Central Macedonia. In this presentation, I will try to introduce the notion of sensory memory in interpreting the past. The embodiment of space will be defined as a process of potentially bodily experiences within place and time. Rather than attempting to recover a true past, it is important to focus on potential ways of interpreting and experiencing. The region of Central Macedonia will provide the case study, since it is in this region that the inhabitants of tell sites preserved past embodied practices like reusing of building materials and rebuilding on top of previous architectural plans. At the end of this presentation, I hope I will have illustrated the importance of sensory experiences in remembering and reconstructing late Bronze Age, early Iron Age Macedonia. In my research, memory is not confined to pure mentalist or subjective sphere. It is also not diminished to behaviorism or habitual sensory experience. Instead, memory is seen as a culturally meditated material practice that is activated by embodied experiences and practiced through material culture. Memory is the horizon of sensory experiences, storing and restoring the experience of each sensory dimension, as well as finding sensory records outside the body in a surround of objects and places. This approach interprets memory as a bodily experience that is triggered by sensory practices and manifested in everyday life. Hence, sensuous memory is a mnemonic process intertwined with sensory experience in such a manner as to render each process of remembering and forgetting an embodied practice. Sensuous memory is the interplay, witnessing, experiencing, and understanding of sensory experience in space and across time. The region of my research is a province of Central Macedonia, which is situated in northern Greece. It has Mediterranean climate near the coast and Central European in the mainland. The region is dominated in the north by high mountains, while two major rivers provide natural barriers in its modern division into East, West, and Central Macedonia. The period I investigate is a late Bronze, early Iron Age, beginning around 1300 BC until 850 BC. During this transitional period, Macedonia witnesses a widespread appearance of mound settlements. The three I'm investigating are Kastanas, Asyros, and Tumba Thessalonikis. All three were part in a densely habituated region where mound settlement was the only way of dwelling. Located in the Axios Valley, the tell of Kastanas is 110 meters in length, 50 meters wide, and 40 meters in height. During the course of its habituation, the site was situated within the marshland and was an island. It was inhabited almost continuously from 2400 BC to 200 BC. Its characteristic is a frequent remodeling of its settlement plan and the consumption of wild animals, which are represented in unusually high proportions during the early Iron Age. The tell of Asyros is located in the Lagadas Basin, 80 kilometers north from the major city of Thessaloniki. It is approximately 110 meters in length, 70 meters wide, and 40 meters high. It was situated next to two small streams and was inhabited from 2200 BC to the 7th century BC. Because of its large storage rooms during the 13th century BC and its continuity in building plans, it was interpreted by its excavators as a site playing a redistributive role in the region, resembling the Mycenaean palaces in their beginning. Tumba Thessalonikis is situated in the northeast plain of the Thermae Gulf and is 12 kilometers away from the seaside. This mound rises 23 meters above the ground and is 13 acres on its base and 7 acres on its top. It is the largest of the three and the only one close to the coast. It was inhabited from 2200 BC and abandoned during the 4th century BC. Its proximity to the coast, the evidence for wine production, and extensive storage rooms led to its interpretation as an important center and one which had trade relations with Mycenaean colonies in the region. Although all three sites were situated within diverse environments, they were continuously habituated. Their building plans were rebuilt on top of older ones, which led in the creation of a distinctive habitation space and resulted in the formation of mound settlements. However, instead of focusing on their origins and regions of influence, I engaged in the analysis of the embodiment of space and its triggering of sensuous memory. In my research, the embodiment of space is the relation between sensuous sensing and modes of subjectification. Sensuous sensing is a process where experiencing incorporates the corporeal and perception, not being subject to categorization. Influenced by Deleuze's work, modes of subjectification is the focus on the potential ways a subjective and collective experience is materially expressed. Hence, the reuse of old building materials and the rebuilding on top of previous plans and maintaining site orientation and room allocation are embodied spatial experiences where the human senses and the ways of interpreting them are intertwined and interdependent. In addition, instead of focusing on the end product of building plans and surrounding walls, I emphasize the process of building and site remodeling, the frequent occurrence of these events, and their potential experiential value to past people. The above can serve as an example on how sensuous memory of past embodied practices is individually and collectively experienced in the process of site formation. The continuous formation process of these mounds implies that space was continuously changing and renegotiated across time. The process of reusing building materials and rebuilding is experiential, influenced and influencing sensuous memory, suggesting potential subjective and collective experiences related to specific events. Also emphasize the aspirations and dreams of the inhabitants to maintain a way of life that resembles that of the past by preserving the sensuous memory of past experiences. Therefore, from what has been said, the process of embodiment is a choice, since the body subject experiences space by means of its belongingness and involvement in the world. Embodied space in late Bronze Age, early Iron Age Central Macedonia is a set of bodily experiences, sensuous memories, preferences, and the means by which situations are made meaningful. This does not imply that one cannot choose one's way of being, but it emphasizes that one can never experience or remember in a cultural vacuum. Remembering sensuous memory is not always about remembering, but also about forgetting. Although all three sites were continuously inhabited, Assyros was abandoned for a period of 100 years during the 8th century BC, and Kastanas had one layer of abandonment during the 6th century BC that lasted for more than 2 centuries. Also, the constant destruction by fire and earthquakes between building phases was recorded in Assyros and Kastanas. Those which were the result of human activity were interpreted by the excavators as proof of invasion and colonization of the two sites. However, continuity with previous building plans after such events of abandonment and destruction was diminishing the impact of such occurrences. The excavators of Assyros and Kastanas concluded that these events were either small in scale or did not leave any material traces. However, the building remains suggest that after some of these destruction and abandonment phases, rebuilding did not follow the previous building plans, but instead introduced alternative embodied experiences found in the distant past of the settlement. Reusing of old building materials and rebuilding during such events of reconstruction was an attempt to reconstruct older embodied practices triggered by sensuous memory and resulting in new sensory experiences. Events of rebuilding after fire and earthquake are interpreted in my research as attempts to introduce older embodied practices, ignoring or trying to forget recent sensuous sensing is expressed by favoring sensory practices of the distant past and rejecting the sensory practices of recent experiences. Identifying past bodily experiences is a difficult task, since it involves modern assumptions on the way people in the past experience themselves and their surroundings. It is even harder to try to identify individual experiences. However, the following example will demonstrate the potential ways a subjective and collective experience is being expressed. The site of Kastanas between 2400 BC and 2000 BC had wattle and daub wall buildings, small agglomerated rooms, and a high proportion of wild animal bones in consumption. After 2000 BC and for a period of 900 years, building plans are characterized by standalone elliptic houses, use of mud brick walls, and the dominant role of domesticated animals and cereal crops in consumption. During the 11th century BC and after an earthquake that destructed everything built on the site, building plans were rebuilt using wattle and daub walls. For the next 200 years, this was the preferred building technique. The separated elliptic houses were replaced by small agglomerated rooms with open spaces and communal hearths. Although cereal crops were still the basis of the inhabited subsistence, wild animal bones were found to be cooked and consumed, and being part of more than 50% of the total amount of animal bones on site. The excavator of the site suggested the notion of a new beginning, based on the hypothesis that people from the north invaded and settled in Kastanas. However, building techniques of wattle and daub, high proportion of wild animal bones, and the agglomeration of small rooms had previously occurred. Hence, the reoccurrence of hunting, butchery, and consumption of wild animals is interpreted as triggering sensuous memory of a distant past experience. Using of older building techniques and rebuilding of older architectural plans is interpreted as an effort to recreate past embodied practices of space and material culture. The above illustrate a selective sensuous memory of past embodied experiences, where recent sensuous memories are suppressed or forgotten. Sensuous memory triggered past embodied practices which were reanimated in the present. In addition, the selective nature of what is remembered resulted in new bodily experiences, like open, shared spaces for butchering and cooking, emphasis on communal consumption, and the creation of new embodied spatial embodiments. Proof of the above can be seen in the adoption of wattle and daub wall techniques, the agglomeration of rooms, and the existence of open shared spaces and hearths long after the decline of wild animal hunting and consumption. In Asyros, between 1350 and 1200 BC, there are centralized storage facilities. In addition, there is no additional storage across the. In Asyros, between 1350 BC and 1200 BC, there are centralized storage facilities. In addition, there is no additional storage across the site during that period. The excavator suggests that this is proof of Mycenaean influence and the role of an early redistributive center for Asyros. The above fails to take into consideration the corporeal value of the evidence. Centralized storage of specific foodstuff, in this case cereals, are seen by me as an attempt to control bodily experiences of taste and smell. Controlling food provision can suggest control over what is consumed and what is tasted. Communal feasting restricted, since food is not readily accessible, sensuous setting of eating, drinking, and serving is controlled. Therefore, controlling what is consumed has a central role in controlling what is sensually remembered and embodied. Moreover, until 1200 BC, drinking vessels in Asyros are locally handmade wishbone handled bowls and cutaway neck jacks. The capacity of a wishbone handled bowl was 4 to 6 liters. Demonstrate focus on shared bodily experiences of drinking. Additional collective bodily practices are also found in the production of local handmade cooking preparation pots suitable for communal eating. Therefore, the existence of centralized storage, the agglomeration of small rooms, and the communal practice of drinking and eating indicate that on the one hand, there is restricted access to one's sense of taste, and on the other, communal experience of drinking, eating, and dwelling is preserved to sensuous memory. After 1200 BC, there are no central storage facilities in Asyros. In contrast, each room has its own storage pithos and pots. This can imply a failure in controlling embodied practices and a period of free consumption and storage. However, embodied practices and the control of sensuous memory have shifted from control over storage and consumption of food to control over serving and consumption of drink. From 1200 BC, drinking vessels in Asyros are Mycenaean style, locally made imported cups, craters, and large shallow basins. However, the capacity of a drinking cup is 330 milliliters, demonstrates the emphasis on individual bodily experience of drinking, replacing the communal drinking set of local handmade Macedonian pottery with the individually proportioned drinking set of wheel-made Macedonian style, illustrates favoring on individual practices of drinking, also the distribution of storage facilities across the site, the communal practice of cooking and eating, and the agglomeration of small rooms are indicative of restrictive practices in drinking and eating, focusing on individual embodied experiences of drinking and communal experiences of eating. I interpret all these as a process of controlling, erasing, and forgetting previous sensuous memory and replacing it with sensory experiences. In all three sites, there is evidence for preserving past embodied practices of storage, consumption, and habitation. Certain past sensory experiences are dismissed and ignored. while sensuous memory is controlled and manipulated in the effort to maintain links with the past. All these represent a process to preserve certain sensuous memories of the past while they are incorporated in new embodied practices challenging previous sensory experiences. The above suggests the crucial role in personal and everyday life of sensory experiences, embodied practices, and sensuous memory. Control over resources was exercised with control of bodily experiences and remembering. Social hierarchy in these sites was formed from the manipulation of embodied practices and the control of sensuous memory. This approach does not suggest that this is the only true past, but rather it serves as a tool in illustrating the potential opportunities found in the interpretation of bodily senses, sensuous memory, and the embodiment of space. Finally, I hope that my approach has demonstrated how control over memory and sensory experiences was crucial in the creation of social organization in late Bronze Age, early Iron Age Central Macedonia. Bodily experiences can provide alternative interpretations on a region dominated by invasion and colonization models. Sensuous memory is central to the way people experience their world, influencing and being influenced by human sensory experiences. Remembering and forgetting influences the way space is embodied and experiences interpreted. Sensuous sensing is free from dichotomies and distinctions, incorporating the process of experiencing and interpreting in the formation process of the sites. Instead of looking to identify individuals and groups, we should focus on the potential ways of identifying collective and individual sensory processes. Attempts to maintain past embodied practices through sensuous memories can result in new embodied experiences, and that the creation of a health settlement is seen as a process of remembering and forgetting with potential ways of experiencing. Thank you.